Hey everybody, and welcome to HDpiano. It's Dan here, and in this video I've got something a little different than usual. I'm going to show you a song that I wrote. It's called Protect This Miracle, from an album I just put out. And I thought it could be fun to walk you through some of my compositional processes and just share with you something a little bit more personal than usual. So here we go with the recording. 1, 2, ready, and...
I've always had a picket fence around my heart to keep out all the stuff I hear outside. But now and then a wild wind will blow real hard, splinters in throughout my countryside. I never thought about the day that she might die. I never thought that I could be second in line. Well, I don't wanna see you go, but I don't want to go myself. There's got to be a way out of this world. Both of us are spared from the tolling of the bell. How can we protect this miracle? Protect this miracle. I know we're young, but
All right, that's verse, pre-chorus, chorus. I hope you enjoy this song, guys. I wrote it a couple years ago, finally got around to releasing it, and I'm just delighted to be sharing it with you in this platform. So for the next 10 minutes maybe, I'm just going to talk about how I wrote this song, some of the cool piano things that are happening in it, and maybe where I drew that inspiration. So let's just talk about where I'm at the keyboard. So middle C, it's pretty common that I play mostly below middle C. It complements my voice better and many voices better, and you'll find that to be the case in a lot of accompaniment stuff. And we're in the key of G flat major for this one, meaning we have all the black keys and then 2 white keys. Okay? I chose that key for maybe one of 2 reasons. I can't remember exactly which, but it's either because I just like this key. It's really friendly because you can feel your way through the keys a lot easier, which is why I think Stevie Wonder writes in a lot of black keys. He's blind, so he's doing a lot of tactile playing. Or I potentially wrote it in another key and moved it to G flat. I might have sang it for a while and in another key, realized it didn't suit my voice, and then found the ideal key, which here we are, G flat major. Underrated key, I'll tell you that. These really flat, heavy keys are underutilized because people are scared of them and think they're really hard. But do this for a second. Rub your fingernails along just the white keys and don't touch any of the black keys. If you close your eyes, could you pick out a key if I told you to? I'm willing to bet without the guidance of the black keys, you wouldn't be able to. That goes to show how important these black keys are. So if we're playing in a black key like G flat, we pretty much always know where we are on the keyboard. We don't really have to look down at all. So it's even more friendly for one who might be singing along with the piano, accompanying themselves, rather, so that they can really focus on singing and not have to look at the keyboard a lot. Okay? So this intro that I'm playing, it's derived from a 4-chord progression, and it's just 4 chords. And those chords are this G flat, add 2, and then all we really do is change that bass note to E flat. That gives us kind of this E minor, or E flat minor 7 with maybe an 11 in there. Then we change a couple more notes. Again, I'm not moving a lot between chords. I like how condensed this chord progression is. We move to these notes, which is kind of an E6 chord, and then this big B7 or B sus chord, which we ultimately resolve. And we have an added 9 on the top. This is something I do a lot in the way I write, and you'll find this in a lot of piano compositions, pop compositions. That top note doesn't move. Watch. It's like an anchor up there. Okay, that's something I use a lot and a lot of pianists use. It's worth noting that growing up I listened to Billy Joel, a lot of Ben Folds, some Elton John, a lot of Coldplay, a lot of The Fray, and all those bands and those singer-songwriters influenced me super heavily. So if you're hearing things that are like, oh, that kind of sounds like Coldplay, or that's something The Fray would have done, that's why, is because I loved those bands and they were my education at the piano growing up. So anyway, let's talk a little bit more about these chords and how I've developed them throughout the intro into the verse. Intro is this really simplistic version of the chords. I had this melody. Depending on what you're hearing. So I took that melody and I sent it through this chord progression, and that was the intro. There's something I do a lot too. It's a kind of percussive thing. This left to right hand, really seamless flowing. Watch this. 1, 2, 3, and boom, 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 boom. It happens so fast you really can't see it like that in real time, but I do it here again. As a writer and as an accompanist, I do a lot of filling the gaps between hands. So if the right hand's not playing, the left hand's probably filling with some like ghost notes or really subtle comping, which is just just kind of poking at the keyboard. I like to fill all the space. Okay, that's something you'll find in my playing, and I get that from Elton John. I get that from Billy Joel. Those guys taught me that, I guess, or indirectly. So I've got this intro based on this shell, something like that. And then when I start singing, there's this really nice bed that I've laid beneath the vocal. It's not overstated, it doesn't interrupt the vocal, and we've just got this kind of flicking happening between the ninth and the third here, the second and the third here. And you'll notice, watch the left hand. When the right hand holds, the left hand is often playing. This is exactly what I was talking about. The left hand fills the gaps when the right hand isn't playing. Right there, the right hand was holding, so the left hand had to play something. I don't know where it comes from. I don't know. Comment below. Maybe I've got some deep-seated issues. So that subtle, that color in the middle is really nice.
I always had a picket fence around my heart,
And it actually mimics the melody in the vocal.
I've always had,
right? So that's another nice thing to do at the piano, is to incorporate some of the vocal melodies into the piano line supportively. You don't have to play the exact melody, but supportively. This one's fun. So we have this B add 9 chord with the sus 4. Can you just feel the tension there? And then there's our resolution. That's tension and release in music, one of the driving elements of music, and where chord progressions and everything come from. So I kind of almost walk down, and I play these octaves as sort of like a rhythmic statement. So a lot of this comes from my past as a drummer too. I played drums, so doing stuff like that it's just in my hands, because I can almost feel like I'm playing sticks at times, okay? So those of you that are interested in playing more rhythmically, maybe pursue a little side interest in the drums. That could help. All right, so we're moving through the verse. This is pretty much the same thing a couple times through. And then the pre-chorus. This has a few things that I'm fond of. Obviously, I wrote it, so I like these things. It starts off on this nice, simple E major 7 chord. I never thought about the day that she might die. And then I'm just moving really subtly. So I'm moving a few notes here. This would be a B add 9 over D, a D sharp. That's a big chord. There's a lot in that. A B add 9 over D sharp. And then this is one of my favorite musical things. Make that 4 chord minor, okay? The 4 chord in G flat is B. Its natural state is a major chord in this key signature. Now if we make it minor, we have just this really powerful quality. So like write that note down. If you want to write like these musical scores, you need to know how to use a minor 4 chord. So a minor 4 chord changes one note from that 4 chord, and that's the middle if we're in root position. Okay? So I'm coming from here, and then make it minor. That's a B minor over D. And now this is big tension and release on this D flat sus. That's a root position D flat sus, and then I just arpeggiate through it. I reach up to add an extra dimension to it, and then I resolve both of these 4s to 3, which makes a D flat chord. So let's go through that pre-chorus again. And you'll notice this accompaniment style, very popular. And then big build or big hold into the chorus. Chorus is maybe the easiest part of the song because the right hand pretty much stays the same for at least 3 chords. The rhythm is the same for most of it. So here it is. Something like that. So the right hand is just staying on this. This is a composition technique I would have used when I was like 15, right? In one of my first songs. Take the right hand, leave it on a chord, and then just move the left hand to change the quality, right? It's surprising how many different flavors you can get just by changing the left hand. So what I do is I just take this power chord in the left hand, and then I just shift it up through here. And then when we get to the B, we have our B sus, our B add 9 sus, resolved from earlier. That's from the verse as well. So those are the 4 chords in the chorus. Now the rhythm is the fun part, in my opinion, because we're just relying, we're sitting on these backbeats, these offbeats so hard. So listen, as I count, you're going to hear the playing happen between my counting. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's almost like every time I say the number, I play immediately after. 1 play, 1 play, 1 play, or 1 play, 2 play, 3 play, 4 play. Those are offbeats and beats, okay? So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, they're happening the ands of the beat, we can say in music. This is something that is definitely a really cool technique when you're playing with a band, because the drums and the bass are going to be there to support you, and you won't get lost in that rhythm. If you're playing solo, it's a little bit more challenging, and maybe the listener might even get kind of turned around, but that's what I'm doing there. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then that's pretty much the whole chorus. I play that twice through, and that makes the chorus. So the song form on this is simple. It's that intro, verse, pre-chorus, chorus, verse, pre-chorus, chorus, and then sort of an instrumental, which is the chorus chords, and then another chorus, which is very common in pop music. We'll just have like these few sections, and they'll repeat, a few times. That is why this HDpiano format works so well, because we can just show you, hey, look, here's the verse. Guess what? The verse happens 4 times. You only have to learn it once. You get to play it 4 times. So that's what's going on here in my writing as well. I think that's all I've got to show you on this, guys. I am just honored to be able to, use this platform to share my music, and maybe you like it. Maybe you want to go find the album. I would appreciate that. Dan Collins, HDpiano is what you would look up. Anyway, it's been a pleasure, guys. You know where to find us, social media, all that good stuff. We really appreciate hearing from you guys, and thanks for learning with us. I'm Dan, HDpiano.com, the home of the hybrid piano lesson. I'll see you around.